Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about The Shy Hero and the Assassin Princesses, Season 1, Episode 2. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So we're immediately picking up after our last episode. Our trio are healthily recharged after everything, and now it's time to set out on their adventure with the hero. And the sad thing is, he beats himself up so much because he's like, oh, I passed out again. Especially after his big declaration that he's going to protect all of them, but he feels like, oh, I kind of failed them in that regard, which is so sad considering like they use that as their advantage to have their assassin conversations about how they're going to handle the hero situation. But anyway, before they get out on their adventure, they kind of have to register first and foremost at like the Adventurers Guild so they can go out. And after getting registered, which this is the first time for all three of them, well, actually all four of them, being able to go out, especially Toto, because like no one's ever bothered forming a party with him. I mean, he's probably had, well, I guess most people probably interacted with him at like, around like those places to form parties and seen his personality, so he's gained a reputation in that regard. So I don't know how many people have actually gone out with him, because it seems like this is his first time forming a party, but it definitely is the assassin trio. It's theirs, but it's unclear if it's really Toto's, because maybe he's been in a party before, but kind of his quirks ended up getting in the way, and he's helped fuel the reputation that he has. But yeah, like he first gets to form a party, and them putting him in charge, believing him to be the party leader, and he's just kind of like, right, I won't let you down. Once again, he's like, oh my god, these women, they have so much faith in me, and it's like, yeah, well, they're secretly concocting plans to murder you behind your back. But we get a little lore explanation, well, world building, where it's like the ranks go from E all the way to S. Obviously, certain ranks are the ones that get to handle the more demon lord and big time hunts and stuff like that as an adventurer. So before you can even go, what Toto's ultimate goal is, I'm going to hunt down and defeat the demon lord, but it's like, to do that you have to get higher up in the ranks. So obviously it's like, how many Seal's coming from the perspective of, well, how many days is that going to take? And Goa's like, well, usually to do that takes years, but it's like, hey, yo, years? Do we really have to work that hard? So they knock out the hero again to have that conversation. It's like, do we really need to do that? It's like, well, we really don't have to. We don't have to actually go adventuring. We don't have to wait to rank up. We could just go on an adventure and kill him. It's like, or we can kill him before, well, the best way to kill him before we even go out adventuring is to wipe out the other two, so there's only one left to kill him. But it's like, nah, we'll play fair and square. They basically do rock, paper, scissors to decide the order. That basically going forward, everyone's going to have 1 day at a time to kill him, and they'll go in rotation, and the others are not allowed to interfere. That's kind of their whole rub of it. So by the time Toto like awakens, it's just Seal beside him. And so we kind of explore why he's doing what he's doing, why he wants to defeat the Demon Lord, and it's purely for the sake of confidence. He wants to build up his own confidence, which Seal resonates with, because her whole reason for doing all this, going out and trying to kill Toto in the first place, is like, well, I want my own independence, and hearing the freedom other demons have kind of gotten made her envious, like for her time to shine. So she ends up connecting with Toto. It's like, right, I'm very confident from the beginning, but right, I'm looking for my independence, and that allowed Toto to kind of feel better. And sadly, it's not just physical touch. Even Seal's words ended up making Toto pass out, and the other two are nearby, and they kind of like gush about the fact it's like, oh, look at you getting so close to him. It's like, when the time comes, will you really be able to kill him? But she's like, right, I'm not getting sentimental in any shape or form, even though all three of them kind of have so far, but they're still being like, no, we still have that detachment enough to kill him pretty easily. So first job is simply to get some iron ore from out of a cave, and it's Seal's turn first up at bat, and so she doesn't do anything big or exerting. She just summons up a whole bunch of slime basic enemies. Once again, I love the very like JRPG elements to it, like just the sound effects, the text boxes and stuff. But he quite easily defeats the slimes, but it proves, okay, he doesn't use any weapons, and because he has to go like very close quarter combat and doesn't have any like physical resistance in the regards of an actual weapon, it means like, hey, we could use this to our advantage. So she soups up the slimes and basically makes a super slime. And it seems like despite his strength and everything, it seems like at first the slime catches him, like when he tries to deal like a single blow to it. But then he proceeds to lift it up, swing it around, and slam it. But that wasn't enough, and now he got more attached by the creature, and it pins him against the wall. And it's like, oh, is this it? Is it over for him? And then he proceeds to yell. So he kind of pulls out a little bit of a, One Piece standards. He kind of uses, oh, God, I always forget the name. I believe it's just called the Conqueror's Roar. Which I think that's also supposed to be ironic because he is very soft-spoken and very introverted, but he's able to use his voice in such a way, and he literally killed a slime with it, and it just demoralized Seal. It's like, all right, let's just stop for today. That'll be enough. So, and I guess it's like because they made the deal, if she's demoralized and discouraged, it's kind of like, well, it's not anyone else's day, so if she's not going to make an attempt anymore, it's kind of like, well, then, that's her wasting the rest of her day. So they get the ore. He simply has to punch it, the wall, and they gather up a crap ton of ore and come back. And the guy that's running the place, who, like, I don't know if he's like a blacksmith or whatever, getting all that ore, he's like, yo, this is great. You're amazing. The fact of the matter is, I can see it in you, the heroism. The fact is that you're going to do something great. I'm going to keep an eye on you type of situation. And for Toto, that means the world to him to get praise. It's kind of like, yeah. But then, like, a nearby hero chastises him because it's like, oh, like, that guy says that to everyone. You ladies, you might want to kick it with a D rank instead of a loser E rank. So, talking all this smack like he's something special, but they kind of give him the death stare. He runs away. But Toto does internalize a lot of that because he realizes, like, well, the guy's not wrong. The fact of the matter is, once again, need to get stronger because they put their faith in me and I can't let them down. So, he reconfirms that, and it's like, right, you guys went through the trouble of forming a party for me. And he's so grateful for that because he's like, if they hadn't formed a party with me, I would be all alone right now. So it isn't just about, like, from the adventuring standpoint. It's also just like, once again, people believing in him as someone who has self-confident issues, which once again, I can resonate with a lack of self-confidence. That is like, it's nice knowing that there are people by your side supporting you and having your back, even though secretly the irony is that they're trying to kill you. So your biggest cheerleaders are actually the ones trying to seek your undoing. So once again, that's going to be the major recurring gag and element to this series, but still, it is very sweet, and it's just, like I said, it feels like a JRPG, and it's just kind of like this nice, like, twist to that connotation on, like, this grand adventure that you're on together. I do really quickly think it is kind of interesting that, well, at least in this regard, Goa is going to be the character who acts as kind of like, oh, I'm going to be your, I don't know if she's going to be the world building, like, character of, like, she's going to explain a lot of the world building, or just, because I'm curious why she knows so much about that. Maybe it's just kind of like the nature of her work led to her knowing stuff about this, and this is outside of Seal and Nimene's, like, perspective. So it's just interesting that she would know all this information, and, like, even Toto doesn't know, but maybe he knew some of this, but he's too shy to kind of be out and about and forward facing and dropping all this information. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. Maybe there is something to it that she's the one saying all that, and the fact that she has all this information about adventurers and stuff like that. Or maybe it's just kind of, she's just naturally a very knowledgeable person, but, like, it's just such very, I mean, once again, there's plenty of adventures in this world, and she's probably run into quite a few during her job, so maybe she's gained all this information secondhand, or maybe, like I said, there's a little bit more to it, and she sought this information out firsthand for a reason we haven't really gotten into. So just kind of an interesting character thing that I'm wondering, if, like I said, if there's going to be more plot relevancy to that, or it's just kind of like there's one character that just happens to be the, like, the, what do you call it, the exposition character, and it just happens to be her. I don't know. We'll have to wait to see where things go. But yeah, I'm excited to see where the next episode takes us, where the next adventure and assassin field shenanigans happens. Because I'm assuming, based on like kind of a little bit of the preview, which I try to avoid as much, but also it was Goa that was talking, so I'm wondering, is it her turn next episode? I think it will be. So what her attempt looks like is going to be interesting to see. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.